Ever get that feeling where your daily to-do list just suddenly feels incredibly tiny?
Yeah, yeah, like completely insignificant.
Exactly. That's kind of the feeling we're going for today. Forget deadlines for a sec because we're diving deep, headfirst into the ultimate long-term outlook, the fate of the entire universe.
Hmm.
And the really mind-bending part we're tackling is, could anything at all actually survive its end?
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
It really forces you to confront the absolute limits of, well, everything we think we know. Physics, engineering, even what it means to exist.
Totally. And our jumping off point for this cosmic journey is this really interesting podcast episode, The Last Starship Building Arks for the End of the Universe.
Right, and that episode pulls from some pretty heavy-hitting academic work.
Hmm.
Papers on cosmology, theoretical physics.
Yeah, serious stuff. But think of this chat as your shortcut, your deep dive into the most fascinating bits from all that. No advanced degrees needed. Promise. Our mission, really, is just to pull out the wildest, most ingenious ideas about how intelligence might just hang on after the cosmos calls it quits, without getting totally bogged down in, the math.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so where do we even start with something this huge?
Well, maybe we should first just acknowledge the kind of grand, maybe slightly sobering picture that modern cosmology paints for the really, really distant future.
Okay.
Our best models right now suggest the universe is heading towards a state called heat death. This idea, Adams and Laughlin wrote about it back in '97. It describes a future where the universe basically reaches maximum entropy.
Maximum entropy. Okay, so that's not just things getting messy. It's like a fundamental leveling out, like a giant still puddle the size of the universe where nothing can happen.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The universe keeps expanding relentlessly, and over these truly unbelievable timescales, we're talking 10 to the power of 100 years, maybe more.
Oh.
Fundamental processes just lead to this state. Stars, they burn out, gone. Black holes, even they evaporate eventually.
Yeah.
Honking radiation, a very slow process.
Right.
And matter itself, protons, neutrons,
Yeah.
probably decays into basic particles. It's this incredibly slow fade
Yeah.
to absolute stillness.
Well, a cosmic long goodbye, okay? And it's against that backdrop, this ultimate twilight, that the big question pops up. Could intelligence, any kind of intelligence, somehow persist?
That's the multi-trillion-year question, isn't it? And one really compelling idea or set of ideas revolves around these, well, interstellar and eventually intergalactic arcs, these last starships.
Okay.
Not just spacecraft as we think of them now, but massive self-sustaining ecosystems, vessels built for journeys lasting, well, practically forever.
Like giant self-contained worlds just drifting out there. But what would they even need to survive that long? And how would they power themselves when the universe is basically running on empty?
The requirements are, well, they sound like science fiction, honestly,
Yeah.
but they're rooted in theoretical possibility.
Wait.
Okay, so first, energy. You'd likely need Dyson-level energy capture. Think surrounding entire stars, soaking up everything they put out.
Right, okay. Not just a few solar panels.
Not even close. And you'd need incredibly efficient systems, near-zero entropy systems, to minimize any waste, any loss of usable energy.
Makes sense.
The podcast also talked about AI-based civilization backups, like digital archives of all knowledge, maybe even, our minds.
Uploaded consciousness.
Potentially. And then there's the passengers, if any. Could they survive? Maybe suspended animation, some advanced form, or perhaps purely as digital beings.
So our very essence, maybe just as data floating through the void for who knows how long. It's like the ultimate backup plan for reality itself. Didn't the podcast also mention ships that could build more ships?
Yeah, the von Neumann arc concept.
Yeah.
Tipler wrote about this back in 1980. The idea is these starships aren't just self-sufficient. They can replicate themselves.
Oh.
Imagine them finding resources, maybe stellar nurseries, gas giants, harvesting materials, and just building copies.
So they could spread out exponentially.
Exactly. Spreading through the galaxy, maybe even hopping to other galaxies, always looking for those last remaining pockets of energy. It's like a cosmic scale propagation driven by machines.
It's not just surviving, it's spreading existence. Echoing biology, almost.
Yeah, it kind of speaks to that fundamental drive to just keep going, keep spreading information.
Okay, so we've got these potential arcs, maybe fleets of them drifting around. But even if they can replicate, they still need to, get from A to B in a universe where the lights are going out. How do you even move when energy's so scarce?
That's where things get even more speculative. But interesting, there are a few propulsion ideas they discussed. One is black hole drives.
Black hole drives. Seriously.
Yeah, the thinking, based on work by Crane and Westmoreland, involves harnessing Hawking radiation, but from artificial micro-black holes.
Wait, so we'd make tiny black holes and use their evaporation energy to push a ship?
Theoretically, yeah, that's
Hmm.
the concept. Your evaporation could be a very long-lasting power source.
Wow. Okay, that definitely stretches the imagination. What else?
Another really fascinating, though maybe even more theoretical idea is dark energy sails.
Dark energy, the stuff making the universe expand faster.
That's the one. The mysterious force pushing everything apart. The idea is if you could somehow, interact with it, harness that repulsive force,
Yeah.
maybe you could use it to propel things.
So like surfing on the expansion itself.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Though how you'd actually do that,
Yeah.
well, that's firmly in the realm of theory right now. It's quite a paradox, isn't it? The thing tearing the universe apart might be the key to moving around in it.
Huh. A cosmic wind. I like that image. And the last one they mentioned was warp drives. That sounds very science
The
fiction.
Alcubierre drive, yeah, proposed back in '94. It is highly theoretical, but it actually comes out of the math of general relativity.
Really?
The idea is manipulating space-time itself. You contract space in front of the ship, expand it behind, creating this warp bubble. Inside the bubble, you're not breaking the local speed of light, but the bubble itself could move faster than light relative to the outside.
Okay, but there's a catch, right? There's always a catch.
Oh yeah, a big one. The podcast stressed this. You'd likely need exotic matter, stuff with negative mass energy density.
Negative mass. What does that even mean?
It means, well, something fundamentally opposite to normal matter, something that maybe repels gravity instead of attracting it. We haven't found anything like it, let alone figured out how to make or control it.
So to get these last starships really moving, we might need breakthroughs in physics that are, frankly, way beyond us right now.
Pretty much. It highlights the scale of the challenge.
But the podcast also hinted at something maybe even more out there. Like, what if physical ships aren't the answer in the super, super long run?
Ah, yes. That's a really profound shift in thinking. The idea is maybe we focus on preserving consciousness itself, perhaps totally separate from biological bodies.
How?
Imagine storing our minds, memories, personalities, experiences, in some incredibly durable, maybe quantum-based storage, and then uploading that into probes built to last for incredible length of time.
So digital minds adrift in the void, inside super tough probes.
Exactly. These probes could maybe hibernate for trillions, quadrillions of years in the cold dark, then perhaps awaken if they drift near some rare future energy source, a new star forming somewhere, maybe, an active galactic nucleus.
And what would they do then?
Their mission could be, well, maybe just to analyze reality through huge simulations, or act like cosmic seeds, spreading digital intelligence, waiting for some kind of cosmic restart.
It's like trying to become part of the universe's fabric, not just surviving in it. And this connects to that omega point idea they brought up.
Yeah, the omega point theory, another Tipler concept, takes it even further. It's super speculative, but it suggests a future hyperintelligence might gain total control over the universe and somehow compress an infinite amount of computation into the final moments before the ultimate end.
Infinite computing at the end of time.
It's a mind-bending idea about the ultimate potential of information processing, even as the physical universe dissolves.
Huh.
Highly debated, of course.
Wow. Okay. From giant physical arcs powered by evaporating black holes to disembodied digital minds waiting out eternity, the scale and the sheer creativity here is just,
Yeah,
almost overwhelming.
it really is.
But the podcast also took a step back, right? To ask a really important question. Even if we could do any of this, should we?
Exactly. That brings in the whole philosophical side. Is chasing eternity like this actually desirable? Or could it become a kind of cosmic trap?
A trap. How so?
Well, would these last starships carry hope? Or just this unbearable weight of endless existence? Could that lead to some kind of cosmic madness? Are we being brave, facing the end, or just desperately denying a natural cycle?
It's the ultimate existential question, really. They raise the point that maybe consciousness as we know it isn't even built for infinite time. Maybe entropy isn't just physics. Maybe it's woven into our being, too.
That's a deep thought. On the other hand, there's a strong argument for the value of just preserving knowledge,
Yeah.
memory, our collective experience.
Right.
Even if we as physical beings can't last, maybe the last starship just carries an echo of what we were. Our wisdom, our art, our understanding.
That's a really poignant image, a silent ship carrying the ghost of a civilization across the dying universe. And they ended with that thought experiment, picturing exactly that.
Yeah, imagine it. A lone starship, barely visible against the black. inside an archive, maybe powered by some ancient dwindling source, preserving the thoughts, the dreams, the voices of a time long gone.
And maybe a plaque on the outside.
Right, something simple. We were here, we dreamed, we endured.
It paints this picture where the end of the universe isn't just nothing. It's maybe the start of the last, longest, loneliest story ever told.
A story whispered across unimaginable time and space. A testament to a flicker of life that once burned.
It definitely leaves you thinking.
For sure. It raises so many questions for you, the listener, to ponder. Should we actually try to build these eternal arcs? Is preserving the mind more crucial than the body when faced with oblivion?
Or is there maybe some wisdom in just accepting the cosmic cycle? Accepting the end as a natural, maybe even beautiful conclusion?
These aren't easy questions. The source material doesn't give simple answers.
No, definitely not. But grappling with them, just thinking about these ultimate possibilities, that's what makes this kind of exploration so fascinating, I think.
Absolutely.
So maybe as you go about your day, just take a moment. Think about the sheer immensity of time and that relentless curiosity we seem to have, even staring at the potential end of everything.
We still ask, what's next?
Exactly, we still ask.